All right, so let's see if we can use the bar to solve this. There was a country concert held in the park. For every 3 men, there were 6 women that went to the concert. If 60 more women attended the concert than men, how many men and how many women attended the concert? Use the diagram to help solve the problem. So instead of setting up a proportion to solve this, I'm just going to try and use the diagram. So they're showing me a picture of that ratio of 3 to 6 men to women, right? 3 blocks for men, 3 blocks for women. So the first thing you should do is redraw that picture to the best of your artistic ability, and you can skip the question marks in the middle. And next thing, so we have this is already in the picture. Next, we need to get that 60 more women in there. Well, looking here, these blocks are the more women, right? And according to the information, my version says, well, there's 60 women that fill those boxes. If 60 women fill those 3 boxes, how much is each one worth? Well, that's just 60 divided by 3. 3 goes into 60 20 times. Right, so by using the comparison about the 60 more women attended and the literal 3 extra boxes shown in the tape diagram, I know there's got to be 60 in those 3 boxes or 20 in each box. And again, once I know the box size, I can just fill it in everywhere. So there must be 20 in all of these others too. And now I know how many men there are and how many women there are. Right, so with a tape diagram, typically there's one piece of arithmetic to figure out the size of the box, and then you fill in all the boxes and just add stuff up as necessary. So then here for the men, I can see there's 20, 40, 60 men that went, and for the women, 60 and 60 is 120. Pretty cool, huh? All from a picture. All right, questions on that one? Not bad? Okay. Let's try the next one. All right, so this one's a little bit different, but similar. For this picture, I have just one linear bar, one piece of tape, and instead of stacking them, I just have them end to end. And the reason is whenever you're dealing with money and you have like percent off or percent increase, you have to know how 100% fits in with the whole thing. So in this case, we get a 30% off sale. So if you get 30% off, what percent do you end up paying? Well, 100% minus 30% is 70%. So this picture here is showing me that if I take 30% off, that leaves 70% for me to pay. And they're telling me here that the sale price is 112. So that 112 has to line up with the 70% because it's what we end up paying in the sale. 2 ways to solve this from here. That 70% is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of 10, according to my picture. So I have this broken up by 10%. The $112 is broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chunks. Kind of like the cat and dog thing or the men and women thing we did earlier. So we can figure out how much each block is worth by just making a note of, well, what happens if we take 112 and split it into 7 chunks? Let's see, calculator might be good there. 7 goes into 11 once. 4 left over. 7 goes into 42 6 times. I think it's 16. You want to double check that on a calculator?
Yeah,
16, okay. So now we know each box is worth 16, so I can just go fill it in or write it down in my notebook. Every box that size has to be worth 16. That's the whole point of making these diagrams. So how many 16s does it take to get 100%? 10 at a time? Well, there's 10 of them. 10 times 116. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 10 times 16 is 160. So it looks like that must be the original price. Okay, so that's similar to the way we looked at the dog and cat problem. It's similar to the way we looked at the men versus women problem. I just want to make one more observation about this kind of tape diagram. Based on this tape diagram, I could use it instead to make some proportions. So if you don't like filling in the box method, I can make proportions by just looking at as it is. As it is right now, I have 112 over 70, and that should be the same as whatever over 100. So all I'm doing is writing those numbers, but I'm writing as a proportion instead. Same order they're in there. And we know how to solve this kind of thing. We would just multiply the 100 up here and then whip out our calculator to check. So whip out a calculator, let's check that. According to this, I should take the 112 times 100 and divide it by 70. And that gives me the 160 I wanted for the answer. So you get a couple options. Based on the tape diagram or the bar model here, we can either do a little bit of arithmetic and then fill in all the boxes, or we can use the picture the way the numbers are sitting on there and turn it into a proportion that we can solve. And typically I use the proportion pretty much as the numbers appear in the diagram. I just set them up as a proportion. And there's several different ways you can do that to make it happen. This is just one possible proportion. All of them will lead to the same number if you set it up right.